Two incomes should mean more freedom, more security, more investing, more breathing room. So why do so many dual-income households feel broke? Why are couples making $180,000 a year more stressed than single earners making $90,000? Because two incomes don't automatically create wealth, they create capacity. And capacity, without discipline, expands lifestyle, not net worth. Today, we're breaking down the two-income trap and why earning more can quietly make you financially weaker, not stronger. The promise of two incomes. On paper, it's simple. One income covers essentials, the second income builds wealth. That's the dream. When both partners work, household income doubles. Fixed costs like rent or mortgage stay roughly the same, so logically, savings should explode. But that's not what usually happens. Instead of saving one income, most households expand to match both. Bigger house, nicer cars, private schools, more vacations, more subscriptions, more we deserve it. Income rises, expenses follow. Savings barely move. Lifestyle inflation, but faster. Lifestyle inflation happens to everyone. When you earn more, you upgrade. But with two incomes, it accelerates because you qualify for more. Banks don't care how stable your life feels. They care how much you earn. If you make $180,000 combined, lenders approve you for a much larger mortgage than if you make $90,000. So you buy the bigger house. And now the bigger house requires two incomes to sustain. This is the turning point. You didn't just upgrade your lifestyle, you made it dependent on both salaries. The flexibility disappears. Here's the hidden danger. When a household depends on two incomes to survive, flexibility vanishes. If one partner wants to switch careers, go back to school, start a business, or reduce hours, the math no longer works. If one job disappears unexpectedly, panic sets in immediately because the mortgage, cars, childcare, and fixed costs were built assuming two paychecks. The system becomes fragile. High income, low resilience. That's the trap. The childcare loop. Now add children. Childcare can easily cost $1,000 to $2,000 per child in many cities. So one income doesn't just add money, it adds expenses required to sustain that income. Commutes, work wardrobes, convenient spending, outsourced cooking, after-school programs. It's common for the second income to be heavily offset by the costs of maintaining that second job. Yet lifestyle has already expanded. So even if financially it might make sense for one partner to step back temporarily, it feels impossible because the system has been built too large. The psychology of we can afford it. Two incomes create psychological comfort. You feel wealthier than you are. A $900 dinner feels justified. A $70,000 car feels manageable. A luxury vacation feels earned. After all, we both work hard. But spending decisions are rarely evaluated against long-term goals. They're evaluated against monthly cash flow. And as long as cash flow works, upgrades continue. Meanwhile, net worth growth stays modest. Higher taxes, lower margins. As household income rises, tax exposure rises too. Dual income couples often move into higher marginal brackets. The additional dollars earned are taxed more heavily. So while gross income doubles, take-home income doesn't double proportionately. Yet lifestyle often scales as if it did. This shrinks the margin available for saving and investing. More effort, more stress, but not necessarily more wealth building. The career risk problem. In a single-income household living below its means, risk is manageable. If income drops temporarily, expenses are still relatively controlled. In a dual-income household stretched to match total earnings, risk compounds. Two demanding careers, two burnout risks, two industries vulnerable to layoffs. If one income stops, the entire structure shakes. Ironically, the household that earns more may be financially more exposed because it optimized for consumption, not resilience. The status escalation effect. There's another layer. Social circles shift with income. You move into neighborhoods where higher spending is normal. Friends take international vacations, children attend expensive activities. Upgrades become baseline expectations, and because both partners are earning, the pressure to keep up feels reasonable. It's not reckless, it's normalized. But normalization doesn't equal sustainability. What one income of discipline can do. Now imagine a different approach. Two incomes enter the household, but instead of expanding lifestyle to match both, you live on one and invest the other, not partially, fully, for 5 years. That decision alone can create six-figure investment portfolios rapidly. It builds options. It builds freedom. It builds the ability for one partner to step back without panic. The key difference isn't income, it's allocation. But why don't most couples do this? Because delayed gratification is hard when money feels abundant. Because upgrades feel deserved. Because lenders and marketers reinforce expansion. Because no one warns you about the fragility of scaling too quickly. The two-income trap isn't about working. It's about building fixed expenses that require maximum output to survive. It's about mistaking earning power for financial strength. They are not the same. The real definition of wealth. Wealth isn't income. Wealth is optionality. It's the ability to absorb shocks, to pivot careers, to take time off, to say no. A household earning $120,000 and spending $60,000 may be wealthier long-term than a household earning $220,000 and spending $210,000, because margin determines momentum, and momentum determines freedom. How to avoid the two-income trap. The solution isn't quitting jobs, it's resisting expansion. When income rises, freeze lifestyle for 12 months. Track where the second income actually goes. Direct a fixed percentage automatically into investments before it hits checking. Make upgrades intentional, not reactive. Build fixed costs that one income could theoretically sustain, even if you never planned to rely on one. That cushion creates power. The paradox. Two incomes can be one of the fastest paths to financial independence, or one of the fastest paths to golden handcuffs. The difference isn't how much you earn, it's how much you lock yourself into needing. When lifestyle requires both partners to operate at full capacity indefinitely, you don't own your income owns you. If you feel like your household earns good money but still feels stretched, you're not alone. It's not about laziness, it's about structure. The two-income trap doesn't look dangerous at first, it looks successful. But real success isn't measured by how much you can afford, it's measured by how much you don't need. If this shifted how you think about income and lifestyle, hit like so others can see it too. Subscribe for more breakdowns on hidden financial traps and practical strategies to build real wealth. And remember, more income doesn't automatically mean more freedom. Only margin does.